Okay, so students, we are going for the chapter 5, which is the last chapter, managing the themed event. Okay, so human resources and volunteer management. So we know that in event management, HR and also volunteer management is very important. Okay, so HRM or human resources management for planned event is normal consideration of staffing. Okay, this is very common, but there plus several unique challenges which we include volunteer management. So Lynn van der Wagen 2006 mentioned that there is no more challenging environment for human resources management than the event business. So if you see here, we have table 9.7 human resources and volunteer management, and this what makes it different than the other normal organization human resources management. So HR and volunteer management, they have motivation, discipline and rewards, whether burnout or rust out, and then locus of control, which includes supervision and also teamwork, and then induction or indoctrination, training and professional development, careers risk management in the health and safety. So these are the area that included in the HR and also volunteer management. And then the foundations is psychology. So we need to know the our staff needs, motivations, cognition, and also the learning style. And then there's sociology, social groups, and then anthropology, the culture, and also education for training. Okay, because we know that our staff in the event planning, they need training. Then unique event issues and applications. Pulsating events needs periodic large scale infusions of workers, so we know that they use a lot of workers, and then heavy reliance on volunteers both in governance and operations. So we really heavily rely on volunteers, and then we have staff and volunteers as cast members, which is part of the experience. Okay, so these are the things that included in HRM. So we have HR planning, motivation, which include Herzberg two-factor theory, McGregor's theory X and theory Y, and then Vroom's expectancy theory, professionalism, research on event volunteer recruitment and motivation. So these are the topics that we will cover in this chapter. Okay, so first of all, we go for HR planning. Okay, so Getz 2005 and Van der Wagen 2006, both they provide detailed HR planning models, which the steps include HR strategic plan, work breakdown structure, assessment of labor needs, forecast versus the supply assessment, risk assessment, HR operational plan and budget, recruitment and selection, training, staffing logistic, performance management by using recognition and reward system, and also post-event evaluation. So these are the strategic plan that is included for the HR planning. Okay, and then for motivation, we have several theoretical approaches that can be applied for using in recruiting and also motivating our event workers. Okay, so for the first one, we go to the Herzberg two-factor theory. Right, so you can see here they have job dissatisfaction and job satisfaction. So it is sometimes called the motivator hygiene theory, and is closely related to Maslow hierarchy of needs. Herzberg Workplace Studies 1965 caused him to conclude that hygiene factors like salary, security, and benefits do not motivate people but sometimes can cause dissatisfaction. So if you see here in this table, we have the two-factor principles by Herzberg. It is to improve the motivator factors to increase the job satisfaction of our employees. So improving the hygiene factors can decrease job dissatisfaction. So job dissatisfaction influenced by the hygiene factors, which is the working conditions, co-worker relations, policy and rules, supervisor quality, best wage and salary. So I can conclude that, for example, if the working conditions is not safe, is not friendly, is not suitable for the, it's not up to the our employees preference, so it can cause job dissatisfaction. They are not satisfied with the job. And then the relationship between the co-worker, as we know that in event we have to work with one another closely. So if you have argument or you are not having a good relationship with your co-workers, this can also cause dissatisfaction. And then the policies and rules that are set up, that is established by the organization, so if it's not relevant and it's not preferred by the workers, so it can also cause dissatisfaction. And then see the supervisor quality. If they get a supervisor that is don't have any quality, don't have any event background, don't have any knowledge or any skills regarding this event planning, so they can also cause dissatisfaction. And of course, this is like very popular, it's very basic, the basic wage or salary. If it's not up to their qualifications, not up to their let's say their experience, so um your employee will be dissatisfied with the jobs. Okay, and then job satisfaction is influenced by the motivator factors. So the motivator factors is what motivate the employees and then to make them satisfied with the jobs. Achievement, when they have done something good and then beyond expectations, so they can get achievement. And then recognition, after all the hard works that have been done, and then the supervisor recognize their hard works. And then the responsibility, which means the task that given to them. Okay, and then the work itself. Advancement, let's say after like maybe 2 3 years after so many successful events, and then they get job promotion, they get a increase in the salary and all, then they will be satisfied with the job. And also personal growth, which means after, if let's say even if your employees already leave the company and they work in somewhere else, but because of the experience they are working with your company and make them grow in the industry, make them feel that it is an achievement for them, so this can be a job satisfaction. Okay, then we go to the McGregor's theory X and theory Y. Okay, so it depends on the attitude, direction, responsibility, motivation, and creativity. So for theory X, for those employees who work okay, this manager who believe theory X think that the workers are inherently lazy, so structure and discipline are needed to motivate them. As for theory Y, manager tries to remove barriers to creativity and self-fulfillment, to treat the employees or volunteers with a great deal of respect. So which means manager depends on this theory X and Y to find out which employees effective, efficient, and which one they have to be motivated more. Okay, so theory X, dislike work, find it boring, will avoid if we can. This is attitude. So if they find out any volunteers or workers with this kind of attitude, so they have to be motivated more, then have to maybe give them some penalty, okay, disciplinary action and all. So for theory Y, need to work, want to take an interest, we can enjoy it. And then for another one, theory X, must be forced and coerced into compliance, which means they need direction. And then another for theory Y, they will direct themselves towards the target and their responsibility. For theory X, with person with theory X need to be directed, they will avoid responsibility. But for those who have theory Y, will thrive on responsibility. Then for those who have theory X in motivation, they are motivated by fear, lack of money, lack of job security. So they always feel that they are lack of money, the job is not secure for them, then they work in fear. Okay, but for those who have theory Y, are motivated by the desire of self development and they want to contribute. Then for creativity, for those who have a little creativity, except when getting around rules, which means you have to force them. Okay, and then for theory Y is highly creative when given recognition and opportunity. So when they are given opportunity, they will be more creative. Okay, then next motivation is Vroom's expectancy theory. Okay, so for this one, the workers have variety of goals, particularly to avoid pain and experience pleasure, and that they can be motivated if they believe that there is a positive correlation between efforts and performance. So I believe this is more like the students now, which mean okay, if you feel that you will have good results when you do something good, when you perform good, and you will get the reward. So that is Vroom's expectancy theory, which means they are correlate with one another. For example, okay, expectancy, when you put in your effort, so you will think, will my effort lead to high performance? Okay, so whatever that you do, will it lead to a very good performance? And then instrumentality, which is the performance, will the performance lead to outcome? So will my performance lead to something good? Will it brings any positive outcome? And then the balance, rewards, do I found the outcomes desirable? So the outcomes from my effort just now with the performance, is it desirable by me or not? Okay, so this is what they say have correlation. Okay, so when you put in more effort, then you will get a better performance, and of course you will get better reward. But if let's say you put in more effort, you perform very well, but the rewards is not as what you expect, or the reward is less satisfactory for you. So maybe this motivation is not even a motivation for you. Okay, right. Okay, before we go to the schedule management, we go back. Okay, after we have finished these three theories for motivation, then we go for professionalism. Okay, so event management is slowly becoming accepted as a quasi profession and is linked to the increasing number of graduates from various educational programs. Okay, so we can see that nowadays not only students in event management um that will participate in event planning, event management and all, but sometimes can comes from other diploma or other courses too. So, event managers are already expected to conduct themselves as professionals, regardless of their backgrounds. And before this, okay, what if they are the volunteer or not? So this the event managers have to be more professional. So this expectation rests on the need for minimum standards of education, training, and experience. And also, if you have additional qualifications such as special certificates, and then you have done any training before, it can add on to your professional background and all. Okay. And then research on event volunteer recruitment and motivation. So volunteer management for events requires specialized knowledge within the human resource department, and they have to come up with a strategies and practices that will reflect both the size and nature of the event. Okay, so they cannot just depends on only one HR policy. So it depends on the nature of the event itself. Let's say if the event conducted or organized by the government bodies, so some of the policies they have to follow the rules and regulation of the government policies. But if it is a small scale event, let's say you will do it in let's say in the college, right? So you have to adhere, you have to follow with the college rules and regulations. Okay, right. Okay, then next we go to the schedule management. Okay, so this schedule management they have 5 phases. Okay, so Once initial objectives have been agreed and accepted by all the stakeholders, you will come out with a detailed planning of your resources, your times, and the tasks that should be initiated. So, this is when you come up with the schedule management. So, once resources are committed, the team need to work to these non-negotiable deadlines as what you have scheduled, let's say in your production schedule, in your Gantt chart timeline. So you have to follow the deadline that you have already planned. Okay. Alright, so we go for the first phase. Okay, first phase is the initiating part. The goal of this phase is to identify all potential ideas and determine which one is the best suit to the meeting event objectives. And then planning, the second phase. This stage elaborates the selected idea and then determine which resources need to be delivered. And then phase 3, mobilizing. So in this phase, event setup activities are performed. Then phase 4 is staging, where you stage your event, you implement your event. And then phase 5 is the closing, evaluation of entire process and capture the learning from the event activity. So you can see that all these phases here is the normal phases, the usual phases that you do when you plan your event. You do it, you start with the proposal, you come up with the goals and objectives, and then you plan everything, your ideas, and then your activities, your event contents, and how do you that deliberate, or how do you deliver your planning just now, what which one that you have indicate in your proposal. And then next one is the day of the event, and then the closing of the event. So how do you evaluate the entire process? How do you evaluate the event, whether it is successful or not? Okay, so I'll stop here and then I will continue with um, the rest of the slides, or the explanation of these phases one by one in detail for our